Charles Robinson tweeted out, we're like 2 minutes into padded practices, and this bomb that Trey Lance threw already has 49er fans thinking they're going to the Super Bowl. Charles Robinson, Yahoo Sports, joins the show. Do you enjoy these highlights that go viral for a day in August and get everybody gassed up?
We are at the height of optimism right now. Pre-pads is about as rich as the optimism gets at this stage. Every guy looks amazing. You know, I mean, it was a good pass, but I'm like, man, the league's not ready for him. Let's flash forward in 6 months, and it's going to be the narrator voice. The league was ready for Trey Lance. I think we're going to see him go through some lumps. I was out there. Look, I thought, he apparently was exquisite the day before I got out there. The day I was there, I think it was a little more normalized. He was throwing some stuff into traffic. He did hit Brandon Ayuk when I was there on this 25-yard crossing route where, I mean, it was like an Elway, like 25-yard rope, just sick pass, the kind that you're like, okay, Jimmy Garoppolo can't do that. Like, I get that. So, he looked good, but I'm out with Zach Wilson right now in the Jets, and it's the same situation where, looks good, ball gets out of his hand quickly, but we won't know anything about any of these guys for, a couple of months until where was everybody talking about Justin Herbert being a world beater last year? And then, the games start, and next thing I know, I got, teams that did not have good evals on them telling me, hey, I think we missed on that guy. I think he's going to be a great player. So we got to get him on the field before we start doing this craziness.
Charles, you mentioned being out there with the Jets and having a look at Zach Wilson, who celebrated his 22nd birthday, which is just half as old as Tom Brady, which is insane. I would not be doing a service to the man who sits in this chair every day, Rich Eisen, if I didn't ask for a Zach Wilson Jets update. What are you seeing out there with the Jets?
Like I said, I mean, he throws a good ball. He gets it out of his hand quickly. He's pretty decisive. But again, it's still early. I think what's going to be interesting is they're going to have a lot of the line is going to be a lot of zone schemes, and I think Mekhi Becton is unreal, but I don't know if he's a zone left tackle. So I'm curious to kind of see how that plays out for him. He's going to have to be lighter on his feet and move around, and that's if you're talking about Zach Wilson, you're talking about his left tackle. So that guy can't afford to miss this season. So I'm curious to see, how he does in their zone schemes. But the talent is clearly there. He throws the deep ball. It's perfect. I mean, it's tight. It's, I get it. You understand why they drafted him, the athleticism. But again, we're barely into pads, and it's going to take some time. And not only that, the surrounding roster, now they've improved it. I'll give them that. Like, the roster definitely, the last time I was through here was 2019, and there's no question in my mind the roster looks better. I'll tell you what, the Elijah Moore kid that they took in the second round, the wide receiver, is a vacuum. Like, if a ball gets near him, he's catching it, and which is, he's been pretty impressive just watching him today. And, Corey Davis, I think, is going to be a good addition for them. But there's going to be some kinks to work out for them schematically, and Wilson's going to go through his lumps, but early on, there's no not standing out here going, oh man, this looks like this is going to be a long-term work in progress, like sometimes you get when you get guys who go in the first round.
Charles Robinson joins the show, Yahoo Sports senior NFL reporter. They got good snacks out there at training camp? Good snack selection?
I don't know. They put us up on a balcony. I don't see any snacks up here, and I'm like, I don't know if you want to put a lot of Jets reporters up on a balcony. Like, I think you're tempting fate. I don't know how long you can cover the Jets from a balcony and not think twice about.
Yeah, give them a Fig Newton or something, some kind of snack or a bag of peanuts. Let's stay in New York. Let's talk about the New York Giants, who are one day into pads and already have a fight. So what's going on with Daniel Jones and the Giants?
Well, don't fight on top of the quarterback. That's the only. I'm not against camp fights. I know some coaches hate it because I think it's a 50-50 proposition. Sometimes it, gets the juice flowing and guys are into it and it develops some kind of a mentality. But, the other half of it is creates animus, sometimes get injured. But I've never heard of people get into a brawl on top of the starting quarterback, who, by the way, is still not a known commodity. We don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be a good player or not. He's definitely not going to be a good player. Keep fighting on top of him.
They might not have known he was the quarterback. They might have just thought he was a kicker or just a random lineman or somebody else.
It's a bad sign. They're like, we thought it was a punter. It's interesting. We're getting that second run of Joe Judge, and some guys are going to love him, some guys aren't going to like him so much. I think, it's hard to know right now what Joe Judge is ultimately going to believe, because I feel like he is very much a love him or hate him kind of guy. Like, he's got that kind of a program. I don't want to bring up Belichick, but he is kind of like Belichick that way, where, if you're in the program, you're buying into it, he's going to buy into you. But if you're not on the program, you're not listening, he's not buying into you. Look at Kelvin Benjamin. I mean, they bring the kid in, the Dave Gettleman, invite, and, or the Dave Gettleman pick up, and they told him, lose weight, come in, you're at whatever, I think it was like 260 and full squad minis. They're like, you got to lose some weight and get in here. Here's what we want you to play at. And he showed up, I think, 3 pounds heavier, and that's a Joe Judge cut right there. That's like, no, we're not going to have that. We're not playing this game. So hopefully they can get Kenny Golladay back on the field. The hamstring, that stinks for them. That's definitely a guy they need working with Daniel Jones right now. But I think a lot of this is just going to rest on the Daniel Jones development, and let's see what Saquon looks like.
Charles, let's stay in the division. TJ is already pre-gaming for the Super Bowl out here in Los Angeles because of all the weapons the Dallas Cowboys have on offense. Zeke's in the best shape of his career. I know they say that every training camp, but this year it's true. Amari Cooper, Gallup, CeeDee Lamb's going to have a big second year. You think TJ should slow down if he wants to make it to Super Bowl, or should he just start celebrating now?
Well, let's see if the quarterback can get through his camp arm first. I mean, it's concerning, that Dak already has some fatigue on that arm coming in. And, not a huge surprise. I think some of it was he was loading up a little bit. And then, I think it was a little bit of a workload that caused the fatigue. But I don't like that it's been this long. You hear a couple of days and then it stretches into a week. And now I'm starting to wonder how long this will go. But, look, Zeke, I was there. Zeke looks fantastic. I mean, he looks like his freshman year at Ohio State. He says that was when he was last at 218. He looks it. Tyron Smith looks unbelievable. I mean, physically, there's a lot to like there, but I think it's, where are you going to get the pass rush from? How consistent is it going to be? The secondary, is Trevon Diggs going to be enough to kind of gel that group? There's a lot defensively to question. And then, I want to see Dak on the field. I'll tell you what about CeeDee Lamb, though. He's, when I was there, because Amari Cooper's not there, they were playing him outside, which that was a big question. Like, how much, can he be an outside receiver? He looked great to me. And I think he's clearing away. He's a number one receiver in the NFL. And I think Amari Cooper's a number one. And so you got 2 number ones. Gallup's great. I mean, there's no question offensively they're stacked. It's just, let's see how Dak responds to, continue to put fatigue on that arm. And although he looked completely healthy, the ankle looked fine to me, and he ran around a lot. We got to get a couple months into this to make sure there's nothing like lingering or nothing's going to get inflamed or blow up at some point.
Charles Robinson joins the show. Yahoo Sports senior NFL reporter. Ben Lyons in for Rich on the Rich Eisen Show. You may have created a monster there, Charles, because TJ was just pumping his fists in the air, getting all hyped up over CeeDee Lamb. Probably going to come in tomorrow with a CeeDee Lamb jersey. So he's losing his mind over there. So thank you for having us. We have to deal with that now for the rest of the show. Let's stay in the division and let's talk a little bit about some of these rumors we're hearing this morning about the Eagles possibly making a trade for Deshaun Watson. I don't understand it because with everything happening around Deshaun Watson right now, I would not want him on my football team. What is Philadelphia thinking with this?
I mean, it's an immense amount of risk. And here's the thing about the deal with Philly. So when teams started to drop out of that March and April, 49ers backed away, the Panthers backed away, the Jets backed away. What was interesting out of all those franchises when they were backing away, they all said the same thing. Watch Philly. They all believed Philly was going to be the one that was going to make the big run at them. And frankly, once Carolina fell out, I thought Carolina was really the one. But Carolina was going to offer 3 firsts, 3 thirds. I mean, they were going to make a big offer, before all this stuff broke loose with Deshaun. And so the Philly thing's been out there for a while. But I think the question that I have, and, I've talked to a number of GMs who, either were involved with this or still involved with this. And the one thing that I think is pretty consistent is everybody wants to manage the risk. So what I mean by that is I had one GM who I think definitely has some interest, said, okay, I need some pick protections. Like, if we're going to do this, I don't know what's going to happen 5 minutes after I trade for the guy. He's like, I'm worried about everything, but I'm definitely worried about what I don't know yet. And so his thought process was, if he gets suspended half a season, I want one of my first to turn into a second-round pick. If he gets suspended for a full season or gets indicted and, faces felony charges, I want two of my first turning into second-round picks. Like, they just want protection in the long term for the packages they have to give up. I have no idea where, what Philly's thinking in terms of, the protections. I don't know. I have not heard that it is that far along, frankly, from what I saw today out on Twitter. And I think a big part of that is, and I think, Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio touched on this. The Harris County prosecutor's got to decide if he's going to advance some of this information to a grand jury. And if they seat a grand jury, that's a whole different. I mean, I can't see any NFL team trading for him because they got to sit there and say, is this guy going to get indicted on felonies? And if he gets indicted on felonies, the league's going to step in. I think the league's just waiting to see what the Houston Police Department and the Harris County prosecutor ultimately decide to do with it. So this idea that he's about to be dealt, I don't know, man. I tend to believe from the legal standpoint, and I'm not even talking about the civil suits. I'm talking about the criminal stuff. I think teams are still really worried about that and what might happen after a trade.
I would be shocked, to be honest, to see him back on a football field this season. Charles, appreciate you taking some time, man. Thanks for checking in. I hope you get some good snacks out there at Jets practice. They got to feed you guys.
I'm looking right now. I just see like Gatorade, and that's pretty much it. So, but you know what? Keep watching CeeDee Lamb. He's a great player this year. I'm glad I hyped you guys up on that.
Good stuff, man. Thanks for taking some time.
All right, take care.
Charles Robinson joining the show.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.